Hey guys, welcome back to another day in the life here on our homestead and in the home. So we get up every morning and go feed our farm animals. We only are down to chickens, ducks, and our cow Daisy. And so I am trying to look for signs that she is about to give birth. This is our first time with a dairy cow, well, a cow in general. And so I'm just continuing to try to get her to used to us, and also looking for signs that she's getting ready to calve so that I can get ready to start milking. And one of the things that I was told is you could push on the cow's right side and the baby might actually move. I've yet to feel this yet, so I'm not really sure if I'm doing it right or not. But I was able to squeeze one of her teats the other day and some colostrum came out. So this may be a sign that she's coming due soon. We're still not sure exactly when she's due, but hopefully soon. So we'll be getting all the milk. My garden is super grown up. We have let things just kind of get out of hand. There's so many weeds that I'm not even going to try and attempt to boil them. So I'm just gathering any of the ripe fruit that I can get right now. And then also I have been making flower arrangements to sell. So once or twice a week I'll go out there and get as many flowers as I can and make a pretty bouquet, and then I will send them off to my husband's gym, which is not a typical place to sell flowers, but they've been doing pretty decent. Next year I hope to actually have a better business plan and more variety of flowers to pick and bouquets to make and things like that. So the kids and I will go and forage for some greenery. We do grasses and sometimes it's weeds, whatever we can find. We find wildflowers, and they really enjoy helping me find those things to put into the bouquets, and it's some good quality time as well. Putting the flower arrangements together has been so enjoyable for me. I just love making up all of the different arrangements and displaying these beautiful flowers. And I don't know, I thought that maybe this was like a superficial job, but it just brings me so much joy. And the other day I was thinking, God didn't just make the earth void of beautiful things. He filled it with beautiful landscapes, flowers, mountains, rivers, oceans, beautiful creatures that live in there. And so if he can make the earth beautiful, I can feel confident in knowing that it's okay for me to make a home beautiful too, or just to bring some beauty into somebody else's life through these bouquets. So I have just enjoyed this so much, and I look forward to learning more about how to make better bouquets, bigger bouquets, how to raise different types of flowers. And I actually think that my flower garden may be bigger than my vegetable garden next year, because I have enjoyed this just so much. This part is one of the daily tasks that we do. we clean every single day. And sometimes that just seems so repetitive and mundane, and it's kind of hard to see the purpose in it. But I hope that my kids are getting skills and discipline out of it that lets them know that they need to take care of the things that we've been given and to be good stewards of our possessions, and just to teach them some responsibility as well. But I honestly it really starts to bother me when things are out of order and cluttered or anything like that. So I really need to go through my house and be intentional about decluttering and what's serving our family and then things that are not serving our family. So that may be a future video that I do for you guys, but I love to have a clean house, and I love to sit back and know that I'm the one who cleaned it, and it feels very gratifying. So I'm currently pregnant with our 4th child, and honestly, bending over to pick things up is starting to get more and more difficult. So a lot of times I will sweep things up in a pile and then pick it all up at once instead of just going around and picking things up. So it just depends on what it is, where it's at, things like that. But I do feel like I have a pretty good system going in our living area. So we still live in a 1-bedroom cabin. Our master bed is actually out in our living space, and so we have plans to start building an addition hopefully next year. We're just trying to save up so that we're not going into debt for that. But in the meantime, I'm trying to have locations for things that the kids get out or play with, and especially during nap time when my 1-year-old is napping, I have to have something for them to do out in the living area space, but it also needs a place to go when she's napping and we can't put it up. I really do find joy in simple living and just caring for things that God has given me, and hopefully teaching my children to care for the things that they've been given as well. And these moments when I'm cleaning or tidying up or watering plants, I have really tried lately to be intentional with my thoughts and gearing them towards thankfulness and gratitude instead of an attitude of unthankfulness or complaining, anything like that. So it's difficult some days. Some days it's easier, but I just know that I have to be intentional about that. Here I am making a headband. So I've started making these bohemian style headbands because I get lots of compliments and comments on one that I bought a couple years back, and I knew that I could make it. It seemed so simple, but I couldn't find a tutorial on it, so I just went ahead and made up my own. After lunch, I went to the gym and worked out and came back home, and we did some homeschool, and then I got started on supper. So one of the things that I want to work on for you guys and for any new people is to get together several recipes that are easy for beginners to start making from scratch. I know whenever I started trying to cook from scratch, it was a little difficult to figure out what all I needed and how to make meals that I liked and make them healthy. So in this new course that I think I'm going to come up with, we'll be doing 5 simple meals that you can make from scratch. And this night I was making spaghetti from scratch. So here I'm making egg noodles, which is super simple. It's just 3 ingredients: an egg, some flour, and some salt. And you mix it up. Now I have a KitchenAid mixer with the attachments for rolling out noodles, but you can do this with a rolling pin, and they just tend to not get as thin just because it's really hard to not use a machine and get it super thin. So I send it through this noodle maker several times, and then I will actually put it through the spaghetti noodle machine part, and this makes some delicious noodles. My kids actually don't even like the noodles from a box anymore, so which is, you know, it can be good or bad. It's time consuming to make these noodles, but it's also therapeutic. The kids like to get involved in making the noodles, and there's a whole lot less ingredients in these noodles than in the store-bought ones. One thing that I have learned lately, and this may be kind of silly, but I have been wearing my apron not just to protect my clothes, but as a towel to dry my hands on or to wipe my dirty hands on when I can't find like a hand towel. And oh my gosh, it was like such a realization when I learned this that I don't have to have a hand towel every single time. And so I will just use that as a way to dry my hands or clean them off, and I don't have to worry about washing it super often because it's just going to be there the next time that I cook. So I thought that that was pretty cool. But once you get done with the noodles and you get them all, not eating them, you get them all rolled out and made into noodles, all you have to do is boil them for just a couple of minutes, and it's super tender and delicious. Strain them off like you would the box recipe, and then add them into whatever recipe that you're doing. So we were making homemade spaghetti. I had some of our pasta sauce from our tomatoes in the garden, and I actually showed you guys that in one of my previous videos. And so I just poured that in. I poured my cooked beef in there, and then we cooked up some zucchini and put it in there. And then I always add my spices according to what I'm making. So my spaghetti sauce didn't have any spices in it. I added garlic and basil and some oregano and salt, and basically just to my liking. So I don't really ever measure that kind of stuff. I will bring the salt over to the table just in case it didn't get salted enough, but other than that, it usually turns out pretty easy and pretty good. So yeah, this was a super easy meal to make for my family. It's nutritious because we're adding in the vegetables and everything is from scratch, very few ingredients, and it's very delicious. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please hit the subscribe button if you are new here, and let me know what you have learned to make from scratch in the comments section below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!